And last but not least, we have an exhibition fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Speaking of no sanctity in sporting events and
Jesus,
predetermined outcomes, um,
jeez.
we got this whole thing coming up. So they've sealed the deal. Exhibition fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, and it's going to be a big draw for sure. So this article here says Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson to witness upwards 65,000 in attendance at AT&T Stadium. The upcoming fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson is on its way to making history. As per reports, the fight, heavily hyped already, is all set to welcome a staggering number of spectators that could potentially be among the highest in recent history. On July 20th, 57-year-old Tyson will enter the ring 4 years after his last exhibition bout for his fight against the young Paul, the latter's promotion company, Most Valuable Promotions, along with streamer partner Netflix, is leaving no stone unturned in making the event as big as possible. For it, the majestic AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas has been roped in as the venue. However, these numbers, if believed, could make the fight bigger than any fight both of them have undertaken previously. On his MMA Hour show, Ariel Hawani spilled some major beans regarding the planning of the upcoming showdown between the two big names of boxing. He reported that while it is not confirmed wholly, organizers are looking at about 65,000 to 80,000 spectators being in attendance on fight night. He noted it hasn't been decided. They're working on it right now, I'm told, in terms of what the configuration will be, but it's going to be somewhere around 65,000 to 80,000 in terms of spectators. Absurd. His last fight against Ryan Berlin, which took place in San Juan, Puerto Rico, housed about 20,000 people. On the other hand, Iron Mike's last exhibition fight against Roy Jones Jr. reportedly saw about 6,000 people in attendance. A number as massive as 65,000 is collectively larger than both these fights combined. To understand the significance of this number, it is necessary to juxtapose it with the biggest boxing attendance in history. So, there you go. 65,000 could reportedly be in attendance for this fight. Um, I don't know what I don't know, man. It's an exhibition. It's Mike Tyson and it's Jake Paul. Uh, I don't know. What do you think about this? You a fan of
Um,
this?
no, hell no, dog. And I think I feel like how you felt with the basketball one on this one, man, where I just had a conversation with myself. It's just like, bro, hey, everything's done, bro. Like there's nothing pure anymore. Now boxing been done took a left, no pun intended.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's I don't know what they've been up to, but this quite frankly is probably just the idea of it in itself is the most embarrassing thing. Um, I can't even think. If Mike Tyson has nothing to gain but from this but a check, and man, times be hard, bro. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is last cash out. Yeah, and you know what I'm saying? Just once I do this, I'm good. And that's his last score. And he don't need no more paychecks. Maybe that's what this is, a little retirement thing for him. But his legacy lived in mythology. It precedes him. Um, if he loses, which I think he will, if he loses this will undeniably tarnish his entire legacy. I feel like this is the dumbest thing. And people say it's good for boxing. People say it's good for entertainment. I think this is ignorant. And I think it's insulting for somebody who grew up watching boxing. This is no different than um, a bear wearing a tutu in a cage at a circus, just fighting the
Yeah.
clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is. You know, Barnum and Bailey. This is not this. This has nothing to do with actual boxing itself. So to me, I'm disgusted by it. Um, I don't care who wins. Oh, yeah, pick a side. I don't care. But I hope Tyson loses. I do. I do. I do. And the reason, because I think he is, like, sports book, put them, get take some of my cash, because I think this is all about embarrassing a legend more than anything else. And so, how much is your dignity? 50 million. I don't know how much you're gonna get paid for this.
Oh, it's not near. No, it ain't gonna be. It can't possibly be anything like that.
What? I don't
Can't.
know. Wait, 20 million, 15. It's up there. AT&T Center, Netflix deals. There's some guap. So I don't know how much it is, but to me, it ain't worth it. So what are your thoughts, man? Do you feel as though this is a good idea, or do you feel like this would put Tyson's career and or his legacy in jeopardy if he takes an L here?
I don't think it's really going to affect Tyson one way or the other. I think at this point, because of the way that his career has transpired, I don't think it's going to hurt nor help it. I think it's just going to remain what it is,
A
which is
sideshow?
he's just, yeah, I just think it, yeah, yeah. It's going to benefit Paul as the
Yeah,
guy who, that he's the only one who's going to gain anything from this, because
yeah.
he's the guy who came up as a YouTuber and now he's infiltrated boxing, and he was never a professionally trained boxer, and now he's infiltrating boxing. But to me, this what it really does, what it really tarnishes is boxing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But again, boxing went left a long time ago. Um, a while back, I think it was, a year ago or some change, we did a boxing topic. I forget what the topic was, but boxing really screwed itself back in the 2000s when it started to develop this penchant of purposefully delaying premier fights on
Mm-hmm.
purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They started to on purpose delay mega fights for the sole express purposes of increasing the anticipation and increasing the pay-per-view price, so that they can increase the overall purse of the fight. So they would just delay and delay and delay and delay and delay. And, the promoters from each side would just figure out a clever, creative way to just keep pushing the fight back and back and back, d- trying to determine who was the A side and who was the B side, and all of this ridiculousness that fans don't care about. Boxing really dug itself a hole with this. That's what happened with Mayweather Pacquiao. That fight happened 5 years after the time it should have happened. That's what happened with all of these fights where we didn't get the fights we wanted until way after we should have gotten it.
Mm-hmm.
To a certain extent, it happened with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford. It just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. Meanwhile, Errol Spence is getting in car accidents and rupturing his retina. And then by the time we get to the fight, it's a bloodbath. And Terrence Crawford, basically punched the dude Errol Spence. He beat the man so bad it looks like he needs to retire. Now had we gotten that fight at the point when we should have gotten it, I think circumstances would have been different. But boxing did this to itself by just not giving the people the fights they want, just delaying over and over and over and over and over again, on the grounds of purses and promoters and A sides versus B side. So, in the wake of people not getting the fights that we want, it allowed exhibitionism to come in and take over, and MMA. So, when boxing started doing this to itself, MMA seized upon an opportunity. That's why MMA is now more popular than boxing. Because
Mm-hmm.
Dana White was like, all right, y'all want to mess around and not give people fights they want? I'm not making that mistake. I'm not even an MMA fan, but I'll be looking at these cards, these UFE, these pay-per-view UFCs. Them people be putting big name against big name on a regular basis
Yeah, they do.
on MMA.
Yeah, they do.
They don't give a damn on MMA. You're gonna get the fight you want.
Yeah,
They gonna make that happen.
yeah, they do that.
So between MMA and exhibitionism and boxing, actual boxing is second fiddle. You know, there's no way during the 90s a fight like um, Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury would have happened overseas. There's no way. In the 90s, that fight would have happened in Las Vegas. There's no way that some of these premier heavyweight fights and some of these other fights that are now happening in Saudi Arabia and London, those fights would have happened right here in Las Vegas if we were in the 90s or even in the early to mid 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
But boxing started screwing fans over and it lost its luster. No one cares anymore. No one cares. So it's ridiculous. I agree. I think this tournament, I think it doesn't affect Tyson either way, in my opinion.
I
I
think
think people look at Tyson the way he does, the way they do now, and that's just what it's going to be. Um, it's gonna help Jake Paul because he ain't a boxer. He's an exhibitionist who trains and he picked up boxing like a hobby. Now he may work hard and he may train, but he did not classically come up as a trained boxer. He was a YouTuber and a social media personality who decided to do it on the side as a hobby. But when you have a sport that's so vulnerable, people like that can come in and take over. Him and his brother. So it's gonna help him and it's gonna, make boxing look even more like a circus, even more like the circus that it is. But it has nothing to blame but itself when it started doing this thing of just not giving people the fights they want, delaying fights on purpose. When they started doing that, with people like Don King and Bob Arum, people like that wrecked boxing. They destroyed it. And so there's no pieces to pick up because everybody is either doing MMA or everybody's a social media influencer or somebody who's not a boxer trying to get into boxing. And Gatto was an MMA guy, decided to try boxing because why not? Because who respects boxing anymore? Uh, you know, all of these people, some of these other people who have tried to cross over from other sports and come into boxing. Why that would never have happened in the 90s because it was respected as an art form way more back then. You knew if you step into the ring with an actual boxer, you're going to get your head clobbered in. I mean, it's just lost its luster, but it's boxing's fault. It is what it is. And then when you throw gambling into it,
yeah,
it's like no one really cares now because it's like I don't give a shit who is and is not a boxer. I'm gonna place my bet and try to come up on this purse, try to come up on this fight. Let me see what the odds are, and let me see if I can place my bet and come up. So nobody cares anymore. Boxing has been relegated to a joke, unfortunately. It's sad. Growing up, boxing was probably my second favorite sport after basketball, in terms of what I like to watch. But now it's not even registering on the Richter scale. It's sad. It really is.
yeah. I think for me, man, I just saw too many people take dives over time, and that's what kind of made me not. Yeah, I didn't. It just felt rigged, and this was in the '90s, bro. This was some Tyson fights. We barely even touched the man. Some Wilder fights. We barely even touches the man. Same thing with Paul. This Paul guy. To me, it's just too much shenanigans going on. Um, I think fighters take dives. Not all of them. I think there's some fighters out there that fight and they for real about it. But I think there's other people that take dives at moments. Some people you can tell that they really didn't train, so they deserve to lose. I get that. But then there's some situations where it's like, I mean, he barely touched you, man. So and they're on the canvas, Whoa. It's like, oh, wait till you see the replay. I saw too much of that in the 90s. I saw too much of that in the early 2000s, and it kind of just made me, and I still see it now. And so it's just too much shenanigans. Talk about WWE. This is the same thing. What's the difference between this and Royal Rumble? It's both side shows, both exhibitions, both scripted, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens here. I really don't want Tyson to lose, but I tell myself that I don't care because if he do lose, I didn't care, and that's his
Yeah.
fault. And that's his fault. If he really care about a legacy, life, and all this other stuff, and he's not into some weird humiliation stuff, then yeah, man, don't. It's not worth it. Why come downhill to fight this guy? Exhibition or not, I think it's silly. But yeah, boxing, take another L. Um, take another L. I don't like this
Yeah,
loss.
it just Conor McGregor opened up the floodgates. Once the once the promoters and once the promoters and everybody realized how much money there was to be made, it was over with. That further contributed to the decline of boxing. Once they saw that Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor fight made the money it made, where McGregor, Floyd is
Oh
making like
yeah,
dollars, and then Conor
yeah,
McGregor makes like 50-60 million dollars. It
yeah.
was done. So you got people like Frank Mir and Anderson Silva and several other people, Nate Diaz, who just decided, let me just try boxing. I don't think you would have ever seen that in its heyday. Like Tyson in his prime and Holyfield and these people, even people like Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, Bernard Hopkins. I didn't even like the guy. Oscar De La Hoya. I hated De La Hoya, but even him, like during the heyday, Roy Jones Jr., obviously people like Felix Trinidad, Miguel Cotto, all of these people, Manny Pacquiao. During the heyday, you never would have seen these people doing this.
Right.
But it's just people look at boxing now, I think, as like a marketing, money making opportunity. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's less like let me go in. It's less like I respect that too much to go in and get my head bashed in, and more so of here's a lane for me to try this out. Let me see how well I can do. It's no different to when some of these ex athletes go on reality TV shows. It's like let me try this out and see how much money I can make doing this. That it's that same flippant approach to trying it, and I just think it speaks to how boxing has fallen.
Yeah.
And I think this fight is indicative of that. I'm not trying to be. I'm gonna watch it probably mainly because I can watch it for free. I'm not paying for it, but since I can watch it for free, I will watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't lose sleep over this. It is what it
Right.
is. I
Mm-hmm.
accepted this a long time ago. But if you're gonna ask me my opinion on it, I do think that it makes boxing continue to look silly. It
Yep.
does.
One
But what are
thousand.
you gonna do? I mean, they did this to themselves. In my opinion, boxing as an institution did this to itself.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
Go Tyson.
Yeah. Good luck, Mike. Good luck, Mike. You know what I'm saying? I want him to win too. I hope he knocked that boy out. But you know, I don't know. At this point, yeah, Jake might put him on the canvas,
Yeah,
man.
who knows, bro? And that's the sad part.
Oh boy, but that is going to do it for tonight's episode. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Another Conscious Approach stream is in the books. I am JV Wins. That is Dogon SS. Like and subscribe to the channel, man. Appreciate your participation and support as we continue to get this thing rocking and rolling. Check us out on Instagram at Conapproach, CONAPPROACH. Catch me on Instagram at JV Wins, JVWINS. Be on the lookout for Constant Approach wherever you get your podcasts as we start to upload these audio files is on the way. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining the community. Thank you for joining the tribe. We most certainly appreciate it. And until the next time, stay solid, stay on your square, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Yeah, yeah. And the name is Dogon SS. Skr, skr. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS and on YouTube at Dogon_SS. Also on DraftKings. All right, Dogon_SS over there as well. And as I say on every pod, peoples, all right, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player. And don't let anybody get you off your pivot. All right. So until next time, my peoples, we'll catch y'all on the flip side. Skrr, skrr.
Yeah. We out. We are out. See y'all later, man. Shouts out to the Miami Heat. Hey, bro, maybe you need to turn that jersey around and give us some better hoodoo because the Heat been
Well,
tripping lately. They've been tripping.
yeah.
They've been
I'll,
tripping.
I'll swap out. I'll put Hardaway there next time, and then we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. You know what
Come
I
on,
mean?
man. Yeah, them boys lost to the Wizards at home. Come
I
on,
know.
man.
I know.
Terrible.
Hey,
Terrible.
we'll see about them playoffs, though. Yeah.
Heat culture, baby.
He coached you to the max.
Yeah. We out of here, man. Peace out. We'll see you later.
Like and subscribe. Skr, skr.